It goes something like this while I'm doing my guitar solo. You know, I just snap this back and...
During one of the most talked about moments in rock history, Ace Frehley's guitar began to smoke on stage. Fans thought it was a planned effect, another piece of Kiss theater, but Ace later confessed it wasn't supposed to happen that way. His guitar's smoke bomb went off too early, leaving him coughing and gasping for air. "I told my guitar tech not to put a smoke bomb in it," he laughed. "He told me it wasn't loaded. Next thing I know, I can't breathe." That spontaneous chaos, a mix of danger and comedy, became one of the most unforgettable moments in Ace Frehley's long and unpredictable career. The crowd loved it. The image of a silver-suited spaceman engulfed in smoke became an immortal snapshot of rock and roll. Today, we're going to tell you about Ace Frehley's unforgettable moments, the wild stories that made him not just a guitarist, but a legend of personality, humor, and raw humanity. Before the fame, before the makeup, before the smoke-filled guitars, Ace Frehley was just Paul Daniel Frehley, a kid from the Bronx who loved music more than anything. Growing up in a working-class family, he found escape in electric sounds and dreamed of outer space. That fascination with the unknown inspired his later Spaceman persona, silver suits, lightning bolt guitars, and solos that felt like messages from another world. When Kiss exploded in the 1970s, Ace became the band's electrifying pulse. His guitar work on classics like Shock Me, Cold Gin, and Detroit Rock City set a new standard for rock performance. But behind the fame was a man who lived freely, sometimes wildly, and collected stories that no one could make up. Let's revisit some of his most unforgettable moments. Not rehearsed, not staged, but real glimpses of the spaceman's unpredictable journey.
I woke up in Canada. I had dinner in...
Life on the road with Kiss was a blur of flights, fans, and unbelievable experiences. Ace once told a story that perfectly captured the whirlwind lifestyle of a global rock star. "I remember once we were on tour," he said. "I woke up in Canada, had lunch in Texas, and dinner in Mexico City, 3 different countries in one day." But that wasn't the end of it. After arriving at his hotel, he met a beautiful blonde-haired model. Something rare in Mexico, he joked. Within an hour, they were together in his room. Then, as they turned on the television, there she was, starring in a car commercial airing live. Ace couldn't believe it. "I just met this girl. I'm having fun with her, and she's on TV. How bizarre is that?" The story became another unforgettable memory, proof of how surreal life could be when fame, luck, and humor collided. For Ace, the extraordinary often felt like an ordinary day.
We won a Grammy for Beth.
You won a Grammy for Beth? Did you? It didn't...
I got it on my shelf at home.
Ace Frehley's interviews were legendary for one reason. He never pretended to be someone he wasn't. During one conversation, he was asked if Kiss had ever won a Grammy. Without hesitation, Ace replied, "Yeah, we won a Grammy for Beth." The interviewer corrected him. Kiss had only been nominated, not won. Ace looked puzzled. "Wait a minute," he said. "I have a Grammy on my shelf at home." To settle the debate, Ace called his partner live during the interview. "Hey, honey, I thought I had a Grammy downstairs." She checked the trophy. "It says Recording Academy Heroes Award 2001. Ace just laughed. "So that's what it is. I thought it was a Grammy." That simple mix-up became a fan-favorite story because it showed Ace's innocence and humor. He didn't care about the industry's formalities, awards, titles, or credit. For him, the music was the real prize. The laughter that followed that exchange proved what made him so beloved. Even in confusion, he was completely genuine.
Did you design your own outfits, all of you? And tell me what each outfit means, and I'll start with you, Ace.
Well, that means a cucumber.
I think this outfit is self-explanatory.
Kiss's image was built on characters, but Ace's spaceman identity always had a touch of comedy behind it. In one interview, when asked to explain his silver suit and lightning bolt makeup, He smirked. "This outfit is self-explanatory," he said. "It's kind of a V shape, and this is my utility belt. We don't go below the waist. That's reserved for concert players." When the interviewer added, "So you're like a spaceman?" Ace replied, "No, actually I'm a plumber on the side." Without missing a beat, he joked, "I got a little piece of pipe backstage I'd like you to work on." The room erupted in laughter. That moment summed up Ace's entire personality, spontaneous, playful, and unapologetically himself. For him, humor was survival. As he once said, "Without a sense of humor, it's easy to go right down in this business." That mindset protected him from burnout, ego, and the darker sides of fame.
Spent a weekend at his house, and it was a pretty crazy weekend.
In another wild chapter, Ace spent a weekend at Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul's house, a time that later became legend among fans. He admitted he didn't remember much, not because it wasn't memorable, but because it was too wild. "We were both so drunk I don't remember it," Ace laughed. "But Rita says she's got a cassette of a song we wrote that weekend." Things didn't end there. "Some hookers came over at the end of the weekend," he said casually, "and it got a little crazy. Dime and Rita were there too, watching everything." Even that story, outrageous as it was, reflected something deeper about Ace. He wasn't just chasing chaos. He lived life like an open jam session, spontaneous, free, and creative. His friendships with legends like Dimebag and Vinnie showed the respect he commanded among musicians across generations. Rock and roll has always been about freedom, and Ace embodied that spirit like few others could.
What sort of things actually make you laugh apart from this?
God, I find the whole life hysterical.
One of Ace Frehley's most famous stories came from real-life trouble that turned into rock folklore. The song Rock Soldiers from his solo album was inspired by this exact night. It began when Ace, driving his silver DeLorean, bumped into another car. The damage was minor, about $250. But the other driver saw an opportunity, realizing he was face-to-face with a celebrity. The argument drew the attention of police officers. When they asked for his license and registration, Ace, who was driving on a suspended license, decided to make an escape. "I told my friend to get out," he recalled. "Then I slammed the door and took off." For nearly 15 minutes, the White Plains police chased him through the streets. Somehow, he eluded them and pulled over at a deli to make a phone call. Smoke was rising from his car, dents covered the body, and he was clearly shaken, but still calm enough to laugh. The deli owner called the cops, thinking Ace looked a little crazy. Moments later, he was surrounded by police with guns drawn. They arrested him, handcuffed him, and hauled him away. Ace later joked, "They didn't like my driving, I guess." That mix of danger and comedy, rebellion and charm, perfectly defined the spaceman's mythology. Even when he crashed, he did it with style, and turned it into a song that fans still sing today. Ace Frehley's laugh was as famous as his guitar solos, loud, contagious, and completely unfiltered. One night in a club, someone sent him a bottle of champagne just because they loved his laugh so much. "That's happened more than once," Ace said proudly. He explained that laughter wasn't just a habit, it was his defense mechanism. "Without a sense of humor, it's easy to go down in this business," he said. "My sense of humor probably sustained me through the ups and downs of this roller coaster." That laugh became his trademark. Whether in interviews or on stage, he never faked his joy. It was real, it was loud, and it was pure Ace Frehley, the sound of a man who refused to let the darkness win. Even his former bandmates often said his laugh could light up an entire room. It symbolized his resilience, that no matter how chaotic life became, Ace always found a reason to laugh. Looking back on these moments, the smoking guitar, the DeLorean chase, the laughter that filled rooms, it's easy to see why Ace Frehley remains one of rock's most unforgettable figures. He wasn't polished, rehearsed, or predictable. He lived with spontaneity, and his unpredictability became his greatest strength. Where others built walls between stage persona and personal life, Ace blurred the line completely. The Spaceman wasn't a mask. It was who he truly was: curious, mischievous, fearless, and funny. He once said, "You gotta have fun with it or it'll eat you alive." That philosophy carried him through decades of fame, addiction, recovery, and redemption. His ability to find laughter in chaos, whether being chased by police or misreading an award, made him not just a rock star, but a survivor. Every generation has its icons, but few have Ace's mix of humor, humility, and heart. Fans didn't just love his guitar solos. They loved him, the real person behind the mask. Even now, when people talk about Kiss, they remember the pyrotechnics, the makeup, the stadiums, but they smile when they remember Ace Frehley. The man who could make smoke pour from a guitar, crash a DeLorean, call his girlfriend mid-interview, and still laugh through it all. Because to Ace Frehley, life wasn't meant to be perfect. It was meant to be unforgettable.